So next up in my Boomsday review, I've got 3 neutrals that I think will get everywhere. So for this list, I've had a look at the neutral pool and basically picked out the cards that I think are most flexible and most useful in the widest range of decks. Some of them are a little bit niche in their applications because of the strength of the cards already available before this expansion and the general power level of this expansion, but certainly these are all cards that I think are going to fit in multiple archetypes and in multiple decks and be quite strong in them decks as well. So without further ado, let's have a little look at them cards. So first up we've got War Gear, which is a 5 mana 5/5 mech with the magnetic keyword, which basically means that you can use it as a buff for any other mech minion. Now, the big strength of this card is the fact you can use it as a buff. The first thing you compare it to is Blessing of Kings, which is a 4 mana paladin card that gives a minion +4/+4. Now, Blessing of Kings has seen plenty of play over the years, as it's just a strong buff card. Now, and that's just in paladin. So there's classes that want to take advantage of buffs that haven't been able to previously, that have the old magnetic keyword to work around that gives them chance to buff things. So I think this card potentially could be really strong. Again, it is hugely reliant on mechs becoming a thing, because it's not a minion you're just casually running a deck that's not mech-centric. But if mechs have any sort of an impact, and I think there will in certain classes, Paladin especially, and possibly a tempo warrior around the new hero card, Dr. Boom, then this is a really strong card. The 5/5 buff is really, really good. Great for tempo, means you can trade up your 4-drop or whatever. And you do have the benefit over Blessing of Kings that you can just use this as a minion if things go badly, which again, around Dr. Boom, means it's a 5/5 with rush. Still get a good trade in there, still feel pretty good about yourself. As I say, the real strength of this card is can you use it as a buff? And as I say, I think Warrior has a lovely 1/3 1-drop that you can get this buffed onto, and Paladin also has a 1/3 1-drop again that you can buff this onto that are both mechs. So they're the 2 classes for me that I think can take the most advantage of it. Whether or not another class surprises, I know there's been a little bit of Hunter synergy in terms of the mech thing, remains to be seen, but I definitely see him play in Paladin and probably see him play in Warrior. Again, another class might surprise with the old mech synergy. Next up now, we've got Crystallizer, which is a 1 mana 1/3 with the battle cry, deal 5 damage to your hero, gain 5 armor. Now, in this video and the previous video, I tried to compare to other cards that I think are similar, and I really struggled to find anything that sort of matches this card. It's got like a bit of a Diamol flavour to it, but to call it a Diamol is missing an awful lot of what this card's trying to do. The big thing is a 1/3 stat line, and 1/3 stat lines, I can't think of an example where a 1/3 has not been played somewhere, so that instantly pushes it and makes it very viable. But you've also got a very interesting effect attached to that. So, dealing 5 damage, why would you want to do that? It's a net 0 thing, so although you take 5 damage, you do gain 5 armor, so you're not losing anything except decreasing your health. Now, decks that want to decrease the health is Heal Zoo, that's currently run. Now, this slides in very easily. The fact it's a 1-drop means you can more consistently damage yourself first turn, second turn, heal your face, and then play a couple of Happy Ghouls. But there's other decks as well that might want to use it. You look at like a Priest. Now, a Priest struggles to do things in early game. Sometimes it just spends a turn 2 just healing its face and passing when it's not even taking damage. Now, this gives you a reasonable stat line that again can contest the early game board pretty well. And worst case scenario, you play this turn 1, your opponent does nothing. Turn 2, you're actually using your heal on face effectively, as opposed to just wasting a turn. So you look at Priest taking advantage of this, because as I say, it's an effective stat line. Priests love to have minions with health that can heal. You look at Heal Zoo, again fits seamlessly into that deck. There's also other applications as well, possibly Warrior, because it's a 1 mana set up your shield slam for 5 damage, seems pretty good. And they're the classes that you look to. I did experiment a little bit with Heal Zoo in my Heal Paladin in my stream, and found that there wasn't enough ways to damage your own face. Now this card helps to plug that gap a little bit, while not really damaging you in real terms. Just gives you a chance to heal your face and then take advantage of cards like Blackguard. So it's a very interesting card that, with very little effort whatsoever, fits nicely into Priest, fits nicely into Zoo. And I think it's also pretty effective in Warrior and potentially could help Paladin make things happen as well. So, and that's, again, without even considering, it's just a quality stat line. You look at a 1/3 and you think, at 1 mana you are going to see play whatever happens. Now the next card up is probably the most powerful and most slid under the radar card of the expansion. It's a 5-mana 2/1 Giggling Inventor with a battle cry. Summon 2 1/2 mechs with Taunt and Divine Shield. Now, you look at this and you think a 2/1, right, absolutely awful stat line. A couple of 1/2s, not the craziest of cards you're ever going to see. But the first thing that springs to mind when I see this card is Sludge Belcher. Now, that card saw play in any deck that was trying to go past like turn 6, turn 7. It's very similar to Sludge Belcher in that you're going to take multiple attacks to get through. But the difference is Sludge Belcher, if your opponent knows what you're playing, if they evaluate that Sludge Belcher is one of the scariest minions to play against, is very, very prone to getting hexed. You're not going to hex one of the 1/2s here. So realistically, you're going to have to throw, best case scenario, 2 small minions in, 1 to each, and then follow it up with like a Consecrate maybe, or a Blizzard, or something along those lines. But realistically, in most cases, it's going to ride out 4 attacks. Now, 4 attacks for a lot of decks just buys you so much time. If your opponent's playing any sort of big minions, then Divine Shield is ridiculous. Because worst case scenario, it absorbs 1 damage. Best case scenario, it absorbs like 10. Your opponent even Warlock, plays a Mountain Giant, then he's wasting 8 damage to pop a Divine Shield. Possibly throws a Hellfire at it, but even then it's still taking him 2 attacks to get through them 2 1/2 taunts. It's one of them cards that just works in so many places. Again, you're getting multiple bodies, so if you've got any way to take advantage of going wide on board, then it's ridiculous. I've seen, I believe it was Zalay, it was looked at in a token druid, because again, 5 mana for 3 minions. You then play Soul of the Forest on that, you're already in a really strong place. You set yourself up for Savage Roar. But again, you look at any sort of control deck, and it's really, really strong. The only slower deck I can't see it working in is Shudderwock, because of the fact it is a battle cry, potentially makes things a little bit awkward in terms of trying to return your Shudderwocks to hand. But even there's potential scope for it to work, because if you do play 2 of them and they both come down on board, you're only getting 4 1/2 taunts. You've still got enough room to get Shudderwocks going. Again, I feel like it's going to be really awkward to make it work in Shudderwock. But a Control Warrior can make it work if that happens. I think a Control Priest, I think it becomes the new Sludge Belcher basically, and sees play everywhere Sludge Belcher did, which is anything that's a slow deck. Just such a strong card, unassuming. Nobody's going to go, this is a card to shape a deck, but everyone's just going to put it into pretty much every deck without even thinking. It's just that good. Thanks again for watching my video. Feel free to comment and let me know if you think these cards are going to see play. Is there any neutrals that you think are going to do things that I've not really appreciated? Again, there's a few that I sort of looked at and I thought, I can't really see which decks these work in. I can't really see which classes want to take advantage. But maybe you've got a card that you think could make things work. I'd be really interested to know what you think. As I say, thanks again for watching this video, and hopefully see you next time.